Forgive and forget. It's a saying that has echoed itself throughout time, all over the world. Forgiving is a choice that's sometimes inevitable, because we value our friendship, our lives, or even the integrity of the world over a petty disagreement. In the off chance that we don't forgive, well, we will never have to worry about that again because we never forgave. But forgetting, that is not a choice. Forgetting is impossible. It causes the repeating of an event. It is illogical, and most of the time, it is better to not forget. To live in peace, war must come first. To learn, we must first make mistakes. And to move on and progress forward, we must first never forget our past. First, let's look at wars. Menacing wars have happened in the past. For example, World War I and World War II. Although eventually each forgave the other, they never forgot these tragic events. Even until this very day, we remember the events of the wars and how they happened, even though we have already forgiven. Although forgiving is a choice, forgiving the other after the events of war is most of the time inevitable. Without forgiveness, we would be in eternal conflict. We will have raging wars that will never stop, and either we will be defeated or they will be. But still, no matter who won that war, we will have killed millions, if not billions. And we will have endangered, if not doomed, the rest of the world. But forgetting will never be possible. We can forgive because we put our lives and our planet before these wars. But forgetting would mean we forget our past, we forget why we fought, and we forget what made us who we are. Secondly, just because we forgive and let go of our anger and our desperate need of retaliation does not mean we instantly trust one another, or even never remember what happened in the first place. Now let's look at our personal arguments or conflicts. These happen every day around the world. For many people, maybe with your friends or your family. During the event and in the heat of the situation, we feel the anger and the need for retaliation. Most of the time, we still manage to forgive. We do this because forgiving is a choice that most of us will choose to do because we value our friendships or our companionships over a little disagreement. For example, say you were in an argument with your best friend who you've known for the past 5 years, and you were arguing over whether or not one of you stole the other's pencil. Would you not forgive what happened and just move on? Most would, because most will value their friends or their family members and the relationships they built over a little argument. But although we forgive and move on, it doesn't mean we forgot. Just because we are no longer emotionally affected by disagreement doesn't mean we will forget it and pretend it never happened. Although we are no longer mad at the other for what might have happened, we will always remember the incidents. As John F. Kennedy said, "Forgive your enemies, but never forget their names." This means that we should always forgive because eventually we will run out of people we can even tolerate if we never forgave anyone. But we should never forget what happened, because if we do forget, we will forget why it happened or what was the outcome. And if this were to happen, would it not just be an endless loop to all our arguments? Would we not just be mad at everyone we know? Lastly, let's look towards our future. Conflicts, fight, and arguments, they happen every day on a global scale. Face it, we all argue. May it be about who's the better sports team, what movie is best, or even who should be providing aid to a third world country that is in need of our help. Although this happens, we will usually come up with a solution, or forgive the other and just move on. This will most likely always happen because it does not mean we will be angry at everyone. And eventually, nobody in the world will be able to tolerate anyone. Never mind work with anyone or even cooperate with them. Forgetting these events are not a choice, because although we forgive, it does not mean we never remembered of such incidents. Hypothetically, even if it were possible to completely forget, it would be still highly unwise. Why, you might ask? Because although we might want to move on and completely forget an argument happened, what would happen when we went back to the roots of the argument? Would we not be doomed to repeat our past? For example, if you were in an argument about which book written by Dr. Seuss was better, but both of you agreed to forgive and forget, eventually, if you two had truly forgiven and forgotten, and were to come back to the same topic, would you not have forgotten it had happened? Would you not be repeating your past? Because you forgot the outcomes of your past, you were bound to repeat them in the future. I know that although this is probably an unlikely scenario, it is still a possibility that can cause endless fighting and conflicts in our future. In conclusion, forgiveness is an important part of our lives, as it is essential to our lives. It keeps us from starting wars, it keeps us from repeating our past, and it helps us learn from our mistakes. After all, forgiveness is not another word for amnesia.